in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. That is lesson 19 from the workbook of A Course in Miracles. I am reading from the notes of Ken Wapnick's book, A Journey Through the Workbook of A Course in Miracles. All of the information on where to purchase these books and many other of Ken's books, if you're a course student, are below. I believe they are from the Foundation for A Course in Miracles. I love Ken. Ken Wapnick is one of the best, most prolific teachers. I think he is the best teacher of A Course in Miracles. So if you are on the path on your journey for A Course in Miracles, this is fantastic reading. Whether you're reading the text right now or you're reading the workbook right now, as you know, as a course student, is not very easy. It's quite difficult. It's like eating broccoli. It's like treading through tar. Many people who pick up the course want to throw it out the window. Like, what the hell does this mean? That was definitely me when I started my journey with the course. And since I have studied a lot and learned something new every day, no matter how long you've been a student, it doesn't make things easier at times. But I started to do these videos. So I'm on lesson 19. I'm going to do them all, mark my words. However long that takes me, I do not know. But I started to do these lessons on the lessons because I had nobody to kind of explain them in a way that I would understand. So hence why I'm doing this. And we're in it for a double header. This is my second video of the day. I did my first reading on the book that I'm reading, Thought Vibration by William Walker Atkinson. So I do many other books that I read in addition to A Course in Miracles. So it's all mindset. It's all, personal and spiritual development. So if you are into A Course in Miracles, stay tuned. All right, so we're on lesson 19 today. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. The idea for today is obviously the reason why your seeing does not affect you alone. If you remember the previous lesson, lesson 18, was I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. And so each lesson builds on the next. So the idea, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts, that idea is obviously the reason why what I see does not affect me alone. You will notice that at times the ideas related to thinking precede those related to perceiving, while at other times the order is reversed. So he's saying you will notice that at certain times your ideas related to what you're thinking about, the ideas will precede to those related to what we're perceiving, while at other times it'll be in the reverse order. The reason is that the order don't matter. The order does not matter. Thinking and its results are really simultaneous, for cause and effect are never separate. So as A Course in Miracles states, everything is caused by our thinking, and the goal of A Course is to switch our thought system from the system based on the ego of fear, sin, guilt, and fear particularly, to a thought system based on love, listening to the Holy Spirit or the voice for Jesus. That is said to be the voice from A Course in Miracles that was dictated to Helen Schucman. And so although the story might be far out there, right? I remember when I first got into A Course, I was like, who wrote this book? Seems a little woohoo. But when you're ready, you're ready. When you effed around enough, you find out. And so I call A Course the end game. It's the game to end all end games. There's another book by Gary Renard, The Disappearance of the Universe. If you're new to the course or you've been interested in it, but you just haven't been able to find your way in, read his books, Gary Renard, Disappearance of the Universe. It's a trip. Buckle up. The ideas are pretty outrageous. The Course in Miracles book, A Course in Miracles, is outrageous. People think it's like some foo-foo spiritual. No, it's not. It makes you horrified at what the hell's going on in your subconscious mind and what really life is, according to A Course. And you got to be ready for it. because it's pretty outrageous, especially if you were raised religious. Woo, it's wild, it's blasphemous. Okay, so he's just saying thinking and its results happen all at once because the cause and the effect are never separate. Jesus extends the idea of one split mind, saying that not only are our minds joined, but our minds and the world are joined as well. The world being nothing but the projection of the mind's thought of separation. Again, this basic idea that all of our problems, all of our suffering, although it looks like we have many, many different problems, we only have one problem and one solution. The one problem is we think we're separate, particularly from God. We think we're separate. I think I'm separate from you. You think you're separate from me. We think we're separate from all of our family members. We think we're separate. And I'm sure you've heard in other, philosophies, like the Buddhists, I believe, like about the oneness, all love, all oneness, wholeness, becoming one. Let's all become one big happy family. Yeah, right. Do you think the world's ready for that? I don't think so. Even individuals who say that, I really question them. That's a beautiful thought, but to really absorb that belief that we are all one, think of the person or the groups of people that you hate the most horrendous, murderous people who abuse children. Are you ready to be one with them and love them and kumbaya with them? When you can get to that, that's when you've reached enlightenment. Some people have. But what I'm saying is that's why we need a course, or at least that's what it's here to switch our mind, the way we think about people in this world. Because according to the course, it's all a projection of our own sin, guilt, and fear that we project onto others. They're the evil ones. They're the bad people, not me. But really, that darkness is within us. And I think that I've been blessed with experiencing such deep darkness when it comes to mental health and my addiction. When you're on the threshold, death's doorway, that you realize, oh, it's me. It's me. And when you can look, and again, that's why a course is not puffy rainbow butterfly spiritual bypassing. It's like when you're ready to look at the deep, dark crevices and hand it over and say, yeah, guilty as charged. I have murderous, hateful thoughts. I hate people. I have really judgmental thoughts. But what do we say? I'm not judgmental. I love everybody. No, you don't. If that's true, put it in the chat. If we know what was happening behind closed doors, everybody judges. We all have this, as a course says, this thought system of we think we've done something bad. We feel guilty. We fear we're going to be punished. So we project it all out. And that's why we point out everything terrible everybody else does. And it makes us feel better. Like they're the ones. And this is unconscious, by the way. Anyways, I'm going on tangents, but let's roll back the tape. All right. Jesus extends the idea of one split mind, saying that not only are minds joined, but our minds and the world are joined as well. The world being nothing but the projection of the mind's thought of separation. This is another way of saying ideas leave not their source, a principle that is central to the teaching of A Course in Miracles. So, ideas leave not their source. Whenever we have an idea about someone or something, it stays within us. That's why it behooves us to think positive, forgive people, love people, try to see them differently. And that's hard. I mean, there have been miraculous things that have happened through these studies. I remember I used to go to a weekly seminar, Marianne Williamson in Los Angeles, before she was running for political office and stuff. She used to really focus on A Course in Miracles. One of the greatest really teachers when it comes to her live lectures and stuff. But I remember people would come and share their stories of how this book has helped them see things differently. Like, I remember this guy, he was so amazing. There's actually clips of him on YouTube. I don't remember his name, but he was there live in the audience. And I went up to him after. I said, oh my God, thank you for sharing your story. Anyways, I believe somebody murdered his father or his brother. And he stood up in the courtroom and forgave the murderer. I mean, it's those types of stories where you're just like, how does a human being ever forgive somebody who murdered their family members, But when you study this, you'll know. And it's like pure inner peace. Like this is end game. When you really understand what A Course in Miracles is saying, it's like, it doesn't mean you're not going to have pain. It doesn't mean you're going to, the world is going to change. It just means you're going to change the way you look at things. You will remain unmoved. You will be unbothered. It doesn't mean you're not going to grieve and cry and be normal and be human, but it means ultimately you know you are safe, you are peace, you are one. Nothing can kill your soul, your spirit. You're not your body. This is all a dream that we wake up from through forgiveness, through understanding that it's a dream. All right, so ideas leave not their source, a principle that is central to the teaching of A Course in Miracles. It is emphasized in the text, and Jesus brings it up later in the workbook. Ideas do not leave their source. Effects do not leave their cause. The world does not remain separated from the mind. We are so sure, however, that we are right, that the world does exist outside of us, because we actually see ourselves here, as well as see a separated world outside. So this is what Jesus continues to tell us in A Course. You believe what you see. You think this is all real. And he's very generous. He goes, I know that. Just don't trip. Don't beat yourself up for thinking that. Just be open to thinking there's a different way. Like if you've ever been confused about why bad things happen, if you really follow that train, do you really think an all-loving God would let certain things happen? Perhaps there is a God. We believe that, and the Course is saying Jesus is real. But maybe we don't understand what's really happening. Maybe it's not at the hands of God. Maybe it's at the hands of our egotistical, crazy, maniacal, human, power-hungry, evil, scared, fearful thoughts. Perhaps, and for me, that makes more sense than believing that there is this punishing God that favors some certain people over the others. It's like if you really follow the thread, it's going to fall apart at some point, and this offers a new perspective. Okay. So ideas do not leave their source. Effects do not leave their cause. The world does not remain separated from the mind. We're so sure, however, no, but you're wrong, because this is real. That we're so sure that we're right, that this world does exist outside of us because we can actually see ourselves here. I can see myself in the mirror. I can see my hand. But it's like a VR set, right? When you're in a VR reality set, you can see your hand too, right? There's a great episode on The Diary of a CEO. What is the gentleman's name? It was a newer one. His name was scientist Hoffman. Donald Hoffman? Is that his name? Donald Hoffman, something like that. Anyways, what he's describing is A Course in Miracles. He doesn't know it. I don't think he knows it. But the one thing that always falls apart there's another podcast called Know Thyself that I think his name is Adrian or something. Andre something. Anyways, there's many podcasts and many people that talk about how this, they're getting into this world as a dream or a simulation, and there's, all these theories of illusions and all this stuff. But when they get to the question of like, well, why would God allow that? Maybe he wouldn't. Has anybody ever thought of that? Like, A Course says God has nothing to do with this. We are actually already with God, safe and at peace with one. And we are just dreaming that we are still here. It's like, think about your dog curled up in front of the fireplace, and you are at peace in this warm, fuzzy cottage. The dog is at peace, totally peaceful, but it's sleeping. And it starts having a nightmare, and it starts groaning, and it's moving its paws. And you, the owner, knows that that puppy is safe. But you don't want to shake, or say a child is dreaming, having a nightmare. And the Course says that, we're not going to be, you don't shake a child out of a nightmare. You gently whisper, shh, 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 it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You're okay. Just come back. Shh. And whispering quietly until the child comes to conscious awareness and is like, oh, it's just a nightmare. That's what A Course is saying that God is doing, or Jesus, or the Holy Spirit is gently whispering. And that's why sometimes we're like, I feel like I'm an alien here. Like, I lost my memory, or why am I here? It's like we're dreaming, according to A Course. So, anyways, this is going to be a long reading. Maybe I'll have to split this up into two parts because I'm only on the first paragraph and I am yapping too much. Okay. All right, so we're so sure because we see ourselves and we think that the world is separate and that it's outside of us. Even further, by minimizing, if not negating, the power of our thoughts, we are proven right by our own perceptions of ourselves as victims of what the world does to us. We think our thoughts have no effect, and therefore we split them off and hide them behind a physical shield, so that we are aware only of our bodies, how they and other bodies react. This has come about because we think the world is separate from our minds, that the effect, which is the world, is separate from the cause, which is our mind. But remember again, ideas leave not their source. So what he's saying is, the world is not out here, the world is in here. This is just a reflection of what's going on in here. And so many personal development, books say that. Physicists, metaphysicists, neuroscientists, like, we perceive through the reticular activating system and attract through the law of attraction what is going on in here. Think about people. How they think will dictate the quality of their life. When you're around a grump or somebody who's negative, why does bad things keep happening to them? But somebody who's positive and always happy, they always get the lucky breaks, or it always ends up happening for them. Is that a coincidence? No, it's just, this is first cause. This is effect. And so when we see a world, and it doesn't minimize like saying, well, Carla, there's murderers out there. Yes, there are. But ultimately, why is someone that way, right? This gets so intricate, right? But think about it. Think about somebody who does those sort of things. Why do they do that? Why do they do that? We see these Netflix series on the stories of these people and how they became monsters. The maths, and it doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make us feel any better. It still is horrendous and horrible. And those people still need to be behind bars, right? And be held accountable. But does it mean that they are, and that's tough, ultimately in the spirit of who they are, because they're not their bodies, they're not their egos, they're not their personality. If we are all one, and you believe that we're all one, maybe you don't, and then this book isn't for you, but they share a part of you. Maybe not a part of you that you're, exercising in this lifetime, and if you believe in other lifetimes, right? A Course in Miracles certainly does, that we live many, many lives. Reincarnation, it's all the same part of this dream. We're dreaming within a dream, within a dream, within a dream, within a dream. And so there has been other lifetimes that we've been the lawbreakers, and because it's all one of us. It's like the multiverse. Have you ever seen, there's a great clip from, is it Ant-Man? Where he keeps multiplying and he's like, it's like overflowing of all the Ant-Mans and he doesn't know which one is, that's like us. It's like there's one mind, and then we just kept multiplying. It's like cells dividing, and it escalates really quickly. So anyways, yeah, this is some deep stuff. All right. Ideas leave not their source. We are so sure that there's terrible people out there, but really that some aspect of us is what they're saying. And that's hard. And you might not be ready to admit, that's fine. It's okay. This book isn't for everyone. All right. So we minimize, if not negating the power of our thoughts, we are proven right by our perception of ourselves as victims of what the world does to us. We think our thoughts have no effect, and therefore we split them off and hide them behind the physical shield, so that we are aware only of our bodies, how they and other bodies react. This has come about because we think the world is separate from our minds, that the effect, which is the world, is separate from the cause, which is the mind. But remember again, ideas leave not their source. As an analogy, whatever you see on a movie screen is nothing but a film in the projector that is projected out. Yet, what is on the screen never left its source, the film running through the projector. To expand on that analogy, what is on the film is what the script writer, director, producer, actors, and actresses wanted to be in the film. Therefore, once it is there, it will be projected and seen on the screen as if it were on the screen. Shifting to our lives, we, as the decision maker, are the writer, director, producer, not to mention the people starring in it. The film is exactly what we have chosen, precisely so we could and would see it on the screen. And that is hard. And I get it, especially people who've been through trauma, right? I work with people on a daily basis. Like, you're saying that it's my fault. No, that's not. No. Mm-mm. And I would not talk like that to somebody who's been through trauma. I mean, I've been through trauma, right? It's like, it's very deep. Like, what does it all mean? You gotta make sense of it yourself. I guess that's all I can say right now. I can definitely, if you're ever interested, I can talk to you about it. But like, the more you read this and the more you're open to it, the more you realize, oh my goodness, it's all stemming from my thought. None of it is real, but it feels very real, just like a dream, just like a dream. And so what does that mean? And Ken is very famous for saying, you're still going to be normal in this world. You're still going to protect yourself. And that's why I really loved that episode on The Diary of a CEO with that Donald Hoffman, because he was talking about so beautifully how he knows he's not his body. He believes he is in this kind of simulation, this like he has a headset on, right? Like a VR headset. And although he knows he's not his body, he's pure spirit, that he's still going to protect himself, and he would still be scared shitless if somebody was murdering him, right? Or his family. He would still get worked up because people can say, well, if it's not real, then, why are you crying? It's like, because we're still in the dream. We're still humans. We still believe that we're here. But A Course in Miracles is just asking us to say, what if this is all coming from your mind? Just what if? You don't have to believe it all. But if your theory of life, if you especially have had religious trauma or things just don't make sense, like for me, they sure didn't. Like, when people would say if somebody died, like, and then somebody survived, like, oh, your angels are with them, God favored you. It's like, how can you say that? How can you say that God favors certain people, like, or that God would allow certain things to happen? And we say, well, how does God let this happen? What if God isn't letting it happen? What if God ain't got nothing to do with it? That makes more sense to me, right? So yeah. Anyways, but that episode with Donald Hoffman really talked about how, although we are in the dream and we can understand that we're dreaming, we still got to be normal in the dream, but just understand that ultimately we are one. We are one. And that is the polar opposite from what our experience is here in this universe, the universe of duality, of separateness, of you and me, hot, cold, up, down, light, dark, fear, love. In heaven, or with God, as the Course would say, and I just point up here but heaven is an awareness of our oneness. And there is no opposite. There's only one. There's only one. There's not two. The fact that we're here observing something else means we're in a world of duality. We're dreaming. This is not of God, because God is oneness. And if we want to return to, and we try to bring that oneness down to the duality instead of bringing the duality into the oneness, right? So I know, isn't this a trip? If you are tripping out or you haven't seen any of the previous readings, I encourage you to watch the playlist on the YouTubes. But again, if this doesn't sit right with you, again, it's not for everybody. But this has been such a staple and an anchor in my life. It saved my life, to be honest, A Course in Miracles. The goal is inner peace, no matter what happens in this outside world. You know, you remain at peace. Do you still feel feelings? Do you still cry? Do you still grieve? Yes. But it's just like, isn't there a great analogy of like the monk who his friend died and he was crying, and one of the students said, "Why are you crying? Like, if you know his spirit, like he's eternal, like why are you crying?" He goes, "Because I miss my friend." Like, I'm human, right? So, yeah. Anyways, all right, let's read a little bit more and then we'll continue part 2 of lesson 19. All right. So it goes with the analogy that it's just like a movie screen. The world is like a movie screen. And just like if you were sitting in a theater on your own, watching a movie, and you look back and you see the projector and the light streaming down, like the light is like our consciousness. Our mind is the projector and the screen is the outside world. And whatever film we put in front of the light, the film that we put in front of the light of the projector, is going to be what's splattered onto the screen, or our world of what we experience. So your thoughts are the film. Just think of it that way. And so if the thought exists in your mind, that's how we're seeing it. And we all are connected. We all have one mind. That's why we see the terrible tragedies and the beautiful, amazing miracles of the world, because it's all a thought. But depending on what we think of, we will experience or see or attract more of it. All right, so shifting to our lives, we as the decision maker, we're the writer, the director, the producer, and the stars. The film is exactly what we have chosen, precisely so we could and would see it on the screen. People would not go through the trouble of making a movie if they did not want others to see it. And if we did not react to movies as though they were real, we would not go to see them. I mean, think about that. How many times have you been captivated by a movie and cried and laughed? It's not real. But that's like our life on steroids, the Course is saying. We are so engrossed in it because it's all we know. All right. Thus, we attend movies for excitement, enlightenment, and distractions because we like to believe there is something out there that can affect us positively or negatively. That is the goal, and everything leading up to it is purposive. This is exactly what we do with the world. There is a very specific purpose in making up our dream. We want people to react to it, including ourselves, as if it were real. Thus, I see everything out there in the world, totally forgetting it's my own movie. Not only did I make it up, but I made it up to see sin all around me, to see victimizers in everyone except in me. We'll end right there. Yeah, and then like the last question that always kills me is, and I used to believe this too, the universe, human beings, we are God wanting to, because God wanted to experience itself. Why? That right there answers my question, the question that never sat right with me. And you know what flipped it for me? There was this book, and it was a really profound book. It was by Joseph Brenner. It was called, oh my God, what was it called? What was that little book? I ended up hating that book, but I loved that book. Oh my God, let me go look at it. Hold on, pause. Oh, it was called The Impersonal Life. The Impersonal Life. The Impersonal Life, you guys. Me and a group of people read that book and we were like banging our heads because it made sense. Like, the reason why we're here is because God wanted to experience himself, but it never gives a reason why. And after that is when like I was busted open, and I had already been a student of A Course, but it took it to a whole nother level. Like, God was perfect oneness, pure, infinite perfection, and just wanted to experience the good and the bad and the duality of the world. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you believe that? I'm sorry. I get really triggered because I used to believe that. And it's like now that I look at it, it's so ridiculous. Why would perfect oneness want to experience duality? Just riddle me that. Riddle me that. We are nuts enough. We're cuckoo enough to do that to ourselves, not God. So that's something that no one can answer. Like, and oh my God, Gary Renard in The Disappearance of the Universe says, or the Ascended Masters that he talks to in that, again, this is all like out there, but listen, when you're ready for it, you're ready for it. But it says, if that was the case, then God would be an idiot. And God is not an idiot. Period. We are. It's like I'll end it with this. Think about the prodigal son story. How the son was at home with his father. Completely perfect, joyous, taken care of. Rich, wealthy. But the son said, I want to do it my way. So the son took the power, what he had, and squandered it and realized, maybe I made a little boo-boo. I'm sleeping with the pigs. I ain't got no money. I'm in hell. So he went back to his father, and his father's like, oh my God, welcome home. Cut the fatted calf. Amazing. The father wasn't mad. The father didn't give a crap. The father was just happy his son returned. That's what A Course in Miracles is saying. That we were happy with our father, or, not like anthropomorphized, like male human being father, but we were at home perfect with God. There's just one of us. And there was a thought, as A Course in Miracles says, the tiny mad idea that we could be separate. And we forgot to laugh at such a silly thought. And then we got really scared that we thought the thought, because we thought, oh my God, what a terrible thought. We felt guilty. We felt terrible. And then that was the start of it all. And it never really happened. It was just a thought. But now it's just us coming back. It's like a dream, like a bad dream. We fell asleep that we thought we could run away from home and be, on our own when we're totally at peace. And there's a part of us that knows that that's real, and that is more of God than this world is, And people even say that, like, we're in this world, but not of this world. That's the truth, But we're, so many things. This is such a deep topic, and one that is, it really bends the mind because it challenges everything that we were taught to believe, especially if you were raised religious. But as you read this, especially if you were raised in any Christian denomination, if you're open to it, it just complements it and puts it in a perspective, I think, that makes, at least for me and a lot of people that study this, more sense. So again, it's not for everybody, but if it's for you, you'll know it. And I make these videos to help explain these concepts, because they are, as the Course says, 180 degrees from our thinking of the world, because this world is based on the ego, on fear, and the thoughts of God are based on love. And if you have two eyeballs to see what's going on in the world, I think you would agree that this world ain't being ran by the thought system of love. But we can change that by accepting it for ourselves, and that's our only job. We can't change the world. We can only change ourselves, and by changing ourselves, we change the whole world. It's not just a cheesy line. Okay. Well, this was not on my bingo card today, but I hope you enjoyed that. If you didn't, don't ever watch one of these episodes again. Okay. And I don't blame you. Okay. Anyways, have a wonderful evening. I'll see you tomorrow.